Hi everyone, I'm Philip Galinsky, founder and director of Samba, New York. If this is your first time on our Learn to Play Samba channel, welcome to the channel. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already and tell your friends about it. Okay, so we are here today to announce the launch of a brand new series that we're starting here on the channel dedicated to the exploration of some basic patterns that can be played on some of the different samba percussion instruments. But before we delve into that, please keep in mind that samba is a rich folk tradition and that there are many possible ways of playing basic patterns on these instruments. These are not the only possible ways. Samba has a rich diversity of ways of playing, teaching, directing, composing, arranging, and conceptualizing the music and the rhythms. So please keep an open mind. And I thank you for trusting me and Samba New York to share some of what we know and what we've learned, and to share our passion for Samba with you. And I hope and trust that you'll find the information that we're sharing here to be valuable and useful to you. Please let us know what you think of the videos in the comments, and let's get started. All right, so for this first video, we're going to be taking a look at a basic pattern that can be played on the Hipikijimo. The Hipikijimo is an adaptation of another instrument called Hepiniki or Hipiki or Hipa, which is played in the context of the bateria in samba schools and blocos. Both of those words, Hepiki and Hepiniki, come from the Portuguese word repicar, which means to ring or chime. The Hepiniki of the samba schools is quite different from this instrument, the Hipikijimo. The Hepiniki of the samba schools is played with one hand and one stick, with a strap around the shoulder, and it's quite different from this drum. This drum is called the Hipikijimo, the hand hipiki or handheld hipiki. It's an instrument that was created by the musician Ubirany, who is a percussionist and one of the founding members of Grupo Fundo de Quintal, which is one of the most famous and influential samba groups of Brazil. And they're also the pioneering band of the pagode samba movement of Rio de Janeiro. And I've been very fortunate to have met Ubirany, to be friends with him, and to have interviewed him for my the research that I did for my master's thesis on the pagode samba movement in ethnomusicology. And I did my research and interviewed Ubirany in 1994 for that research. So Ubirany actually told me how he created this drum. He told me that in the 1970s, he went to a samba party and he was looking for an instrument to play, and he saw a drum set. So he took a tom-tom from the drum set and he put it on his lap and started playing it with his hands. Then he later went to another samba party, saw a samba school hepiniki, and he took that and he put it on his lap and started playing it with his hands. And then he realized that because a hepiniki has two heads, one on the batter side and one on the other side, so he realized that if he took the head off of the bottom head off the hepiniki, he liked that sound. And he also realized that if he lowered the rim, it would be easier for him to play with his hand, because the samba school hepiniki has a higher rim, and it kind of would hurt your hand if you're playing it like just with your hand. So he took the bottom head off the hepiniki, he lowered the rim, and it was a lot easier for him to play, but he still found that it wasn't quite the sound he was looking for because there were a lot of overtones. So at that point, he decided to put some wooden buffers inside the shell of the drum. You can see the wooden buffers here. And that basically absorbed the sound and made for a drier, crisper sound. And there you have it. That's the creation. That's how Ubirany created the Hipikijimo. And it's an instrument that is a relatively new instrument in the Samba percussion family, created only in the 1970s, but it's an incredible instrument, known the world over, played in Samba groups the world over. So let's get started with this basic pattern. So this particular Hipikijimo is 12 inches in diameter. It's by Contemporánea. It has a great sound. And this is how I hold the Hipikijimo. You can hold it, you can place it across your lap like this, but I prefer to place it on my left leg. I'm right-handed, so my right hand is going to play on the head of the drum, and my left hand is going to be playing on the shell of the drum here. Okay, so before we get into this basic pattern, let's go over some of the strokes that we'll be using. In my right hand, the hand that plays the head of the drum, you have the thumb stroke. Okay, so what I'm doing to get the thumb stroke is I'm rotating my forearm and I'm striking the head of the drum with the side of my thumb, the bone, and I'm also catching some of the fleshy part of my thumb right here on the head. Okay, so that's the thumb stroke. Next is the tap or the finger stroke. And basically what I do to get that is I just place my whole hand on the head of the drum, but I'm getting most of the sound from the ends of my fingers. Okay, so the palm of my hand is still touching the head lightly, but the sound is coming from the ends of my fingers. All right. You could even lift your hand up and just play just with your fingers without contacting the head with the palm of your hand if you want. You could do it either way. See what's comfortable for you. There are many ways of playing the Hipikijimo, many ways of playing all of the Samba percussion instruments. So just experiment and see what works for you. And then in my left hand, I'm just going to be tapping on the shell of the drum. All right. So those are the strokes we'll be using. I'm going to show you two different ways of playing the basic pattern. The first way is a little simpler, and if you're not familiar with the video that we just posted called An Introduction to the Samba Rhythm, and you're new to Samba, I would suggest checking that out. But here's a little overview or a little review now. The Samba, you can count in 4 beats, and each of those 4 beats, each of those 4 main beats can be subdivided into 4 smaller beats, which I call subdivisions. And this basic pattern for the Hipikijimo actually plays all 16 of those subdivisions of the cycle. So the pattern is, it's a 1-measure pattern, 4-beat cycle, 4-beat pattern, and the pattern is actually comprised of all 16 of those subdivisions. All right, so I'm going to break it down beat by beat. The first 4, the 4 notes of beat 1, the 4 notes of beat 2, the 4 notes of beat 3, the 4 notes of beat 4. Okay. All right, so starting with beat 1. Beat 1 is going to be for the simpler version of the basic pattern. There are different ways of playing this simpler version, of course, but I'll just show you one way. By the way, I should mention that Ubirany created a basic pattern for, he created a basic pattern for the instrument. You know, just by the way that he was playing, he created it, and then it was adapted by other players of the instrument later on, and each player has their own way of playing the basic pattern. But it originally, you know, it comes from Ubirany because he's the inventor of the instrument, and he's the one who first started playing this rhythm on the Hipikijimo, this kind of basic pattern. But as I said, there are many different ways of playing it. Let's start with this simple way that I play it. I'm just showing you the way that I play it, that I learned it and that I play it. Let's start with the beat 1. Okay, it's going to be, so it's going to be body, thumb, body, fingers. Body, thumb, body, fingers. 1 E and A, 1 E and A, 1 E and A. Okay, that's beat 1. Beat 2 is going to be thumb, body, thumb, body. Thumb, body, thumb, body. Thumb, body, thumb, body. Thumb, body, thumb, body. All right? 2 E and A. So putting together beats 1 and 2, you have 3 E and A, 4 E and A. 3, 4. And again. 3, 4. 3, 4. Okay, moving on to beat 3. Beat 3 is going to be fingers, thumb, body, fingers. Fingers, thumb, body, fingers. Fingers, thumb, body, fingers. Okay, 3, E, and A. All right? Beat 4 is actually the exact same thing. So 3 E and A, 4 E and A. Okay? However, the accent pattern is a little different. So in beat 3, we're going to accent the first finger stroke, but we're not going to accent the second finger stroke. And in beat 4, we're going to accent both fingers strokes. All right? So it's going to be 3 E and A, 4 E and A. So we basically unaccent the last finger stroke of beat 3, leading to the louder finger stroke starting on beat 1 of beat 4. Okay? So beats 3 and 4 together again. 3 E and A, 4 E and A. 1, 2. 3 E and A, 4 E and A. 2. 3 E and A, 4 E and A. 3 E and A, 4 E and A. Okay, let's put all these together. Beats 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we'll play the pattern one time. 3 E and A, 4 E and A. That's it. One more time. 3 E and A, 4 E and A. Did you get it? Okay, let's play it continuously now. 3 E and A, 4 E and A. All right, moving on now to a more complex version of this basic pattern, in which we're going to add what's called the Hipikijimo. The Hipikijimo obviously comes from the word Hipiki, or Hipiniki, and I would translate it as an ornamentation. Okay, so there are different ways of getting the Hipikijimo on the Hipikijimo. I used to play it fingers, thumb, fingers, but more recently, I've started playing it as thumb, fingers, thumb, okay? So those are two possible ways of playing it, and there are even other ways of getting the Hipikijimo, so just experiment and see what works for you, okay? So basically what we're going to do is we're going to insert this Hipikijimo, this fast flurry of notes, this ornamentation, in beat 1 of the pattern we just learned. So beat 1, instead of being, is going to be body, Hipikijimo, body. So, da, do, 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 da, that's the rhythm. Da, do, 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 da. So it's going to be, so I'm going body, thumb, fingers, thumb, body. Okay, it would be a good exercise to practice going back and forth, doing kind of a roll, practicing thumb, fingers, thumb, fingers, thumb, fingers. That's a very good exercise for the Hipikijimo. But in any case, that's one way of getting the Hipikijimo. Let's insert that into the pattern, and so we'll play this basic pattern now with the Hipikijimo. Okay, so that will be beat 1. Beats 2, 3, and 4 are going to be the same as in the first version of the pattern, all right? So let's play the version of the basic pattern with the Hipikijimo now, one time through. 3 E and a, 4 E and a. Did you get it? All right, I hope you did. So now let me play the both versions of this basic pattern for Hipikijimo at a faster tempo. First, without the Hipikijimo. 3 E and a, 4 E and a. All right, and now with Hipikijimo. 3 E and a, 4 E and a. All right, there you have it. This is a starting point for you to start playing the Hipikijimo. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please let us know what you think in the comments. Please share the video. And thank you so much. We look forward to seeing you in other videos.